Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a wonderful Wednesday night. I'll tell you, these Wednesday nights in April are something this month. Had a great stream last week talking about Alaska with Alaska Jeff. I got great streams the next two Wednesday nights, but I will tell you, frankly, folks, this Wednesday night is special to me. I've wanted to talk some theme parks for a while, and growing up in the theme parks, loving it, and everything else, just really special things and moments that you have with your family. As a kid, it's a one thing. Then as you get your own kids, then it grows up, and then you watch your little munchkins get bigger and better, and just it just grows from there. So this is a highlight for me tonight, folks. I tell you what, and because we got kind of a limited time tonight, I'm not going to dawdle for 15 minutes like I usually do at the beginning. But let me introduce these wonderful, great people that I've got coming on tonight. Both of these people I consider friends, which makes us even more special, is streaming with friends, not just people or other personalities, but these two people I've gotten to know a bit more, and some more than others, but it's awesome. Wonderful time tonight. So let me quit babbling like a dad man and start with the Queen of Florida herself, the great, the incomparable Reina Creole. Hello, Lorena.
Hello. You flatter me, Dad, man.
Well, hey, but it's all true. We know you're the Queen of Florida, and if anybody denies that, well, we'll talk to them later. But how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful. Have been looking forward to this stream on your channel.
Well, it's always a blast to get to have you on. Last time with football, we talked about, actually, and the last time you popped in to talk a little NCAA basketball. So
I did.
That was awesome to have you for that. So, hey, it kind of a different thing. I don't think you expected that. You don't get often asked for that, do you?
No, I think that was the first time I got asked.
All right. Well, hey.
Regarding that. So I was happy to drop in.
Former cheerleader, everything else, you knew exactly what to say. Yep. All right. And with that was a whole story. That's another lesson. And don't run with the first headline, that story.
Yeah, that was like, come on now.
I know. Well, thanks again. Great to have you. And Lorena, thank you for every time you've had me on your show. I always appreciate it.
Welcome.
And now, and of course, Lorena streams theme parks. I'm going to bring the next guy on before I embarrass both of them even a lot more. So this is a guy that I recently met in the last few months, not in person, but through conversation, through the chats, through Twitter. Great guy. Listen, every time he says Knott's Berry Farm, I want to watch it because I've never been there, never been to California. We had a Bible school years ago that had a theme of Knott's Berry Farm was the destination. So ever since I heard that, this guy was awesome. And let's welcome in for the, he popped in on my 100th celebration stream for just a moment, but let's welcome the great Theme Park Casual. Hey, Theme Park.
Hey, Casual.
Hey, kids. Hey, Lorena, Dadman. Great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, good. How are you doing tonight? You just streamed a parade, I think, a few minutes ago.
Yep, I am at Disneyland. Right now I'm in California Adventure, right next to soaring over California in the little Grizzly Peak area.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, I know. You did try another little area, but it just, too many logistical problems for the world of copyright infringement and stuff.
Yeah. Cars. I was trying to have the beautiful Cars Land Cadillac range behind me, but too much 50s rock and roll licensed music that just wouldn't allow it.
I gotcha. I understand. Hey, but like I said, this is a blast. Oh shoot! Guess what I did?
What?
Hold on, thing. That's me. That's me. I opened something elsewhere on Twitter. See, I told you I'm multitasking. So, oh gosh. Okay, so I shut it down. Anyway, killed that one. If that came through, and if the chat heard it, then I'm hopeful some surprises I've got for y'all tonight come through. So, which we'll go to in just a minute. But theme park, I told you that I had a surprise a little bit for you because one of the early on, I've gone back with what is it, about 2 years, Lorena? I think close to 2 years, year and a half, 2 years through your shows. Well, there was Avatar. Well, this lady Lorena Creole had something in her Welcome to Florida show, and then started talking about Trilogy of Terror
Yep.
and a little tiki doll. You know, and it's like I had to go search the stupid thing, and ta-da!
Hey, the old
There we
Avatar.
go.
There you go. Which was so great. Hilarious was because she mentioned it. This brought back my early teenage nightmares.
Yep.
I remember watching this show, and I had in 1975 ABC Trilogy of Terror TV show, and I remember that and I had nightmares of them for years. And then I talked to my mother about it, and she's like, "I didn't watch that. That was your dad and your sister." But yes, I just had to share that. That goes quite a ways back. Thank you, Lorena, for bringing back that.
Oh, you're welcome. And I was so happy to, share that with how I got addicted to horror. It's my mother's fault for having it playing. And I'm minding my own business, riding my big wheel. I'm like, oh, what's this on the TV?
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
we didn't move. It was like neither one of us could move, but we couldn't stop watching this. And then as soon as like the commercial came on, we like, just like went. We're just like, oh my God, we got to get out of here. But yeah.
Well, that's funny. My mom denies that she blames it on my dad and my sister, which was their kind of thing. But what's so funny was not just that, and I used it really remember I've used it a long time, but it like culture kept commenting on it everywhere I went. Clobbering Times was the scariest Avatar on YouTube, and I had somebody stop a stream once just to talk about the Avatar. Like, what is it? It was hilarious, and I had somebody in the chat that I got to know now that was telling them this from this show. So,
didn't Mrs. Dadman end up doing the same thing, but just like put lipstick and eyeshadow on it?
It was great.
Let me not boomer myself, but yes, we can do that real quick. I can show you all that. I can show you that right here. I think it was a color palette. She said, and it's like there you go.
Yeah, there it was.
There you go.
And that's what I knew you guys as.
Good stuff.
Like, the tiki doll avatar and then the made up tiki doll avatar.
Exactly. Yeah. Just a little color palette. That's all it took to do a lot. So, oh, well, hello. Welcome, everybody. Well, let me go ahead and say we got 5 people in the chat. I think it kind of bounces around, but let's go ahead and say hello to a few people here. Let's see. Hello to the great and lovely Mrs. Dadman, Welcome 55. The true technical expertise behind this operation. And Lorena. Hello, Lorena. And yes, smack that like button.
Yes.
And hello, Jess. Welcome. Welcome tonight, Jess.
Ooh.
Great to see you. And hell back to you, Maddie's daddy, Steve Mitchum. Good to see you tonight. Really good to see you. So, and let's see, Castle. Hey, Castle. Welcome. Good to see you. Hope that homework's going well for you tonight. We do have a question for you, though, Lorena. Lorena, are you from Louisiana like Steve Mitchum is?
My father's family is from there. Biloxi, Mississippi, and New Orleans, Louisiana, and some little town called Opelousas.
Opelousas. I thought you were going to say Opelika, but that's south in Florida. But
yeah, it's different. It's Opelousas. Interesting story.
Opelousas. Yeah.
Yeah, Opelousas. My 5th great grandfather was actually from Naples, Italy, under the service of Spain. So he came from Naples, Italy, to New Orleans. So he was there when it was Spanish Louisiana, and he even fought in the Revolutionary War. And then after that, he moved his family from New Orleans out in the boonies to Opelousas.
There you go. And there you have it. Oh, that's funny. I've never heard of Opelousas. I'm thinking I'm going to pass through Louisiana in a few months. So we'll see what happens. So, and thank you, Mrs., for putting that out there, and make sure to get theme park out there too. Check out the links. And hey, CJ, welcome.
Hey, CJ.
Wonders if red wine and Pepsi is any good.
I don't like Pepsi, but I'll take red wine for sure.
Yeah, don't mind me. I got to get tooth removed tomorrow. Oh, sorry about that.
Get the good drugs, CJ.
Yeah, don't skimp on the drugs.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody that's here tonight, and let's start to jump into it. And I'll throw it out to you, both of you, kind of a general question. Okay, you both stream theme parks, you know, events, parades, all that stuff. What about theme parks? Well, that made you enjoy it to the point you wanted to do these live streams like you do.
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't mean $100 floated question
Yeah.
No,
right off the
that's
bat,
okay.
but
No, I had to think
yeah,
for a little bit.
yeah.
I know I just love theme parks. Disney World, especially the Magic Kingdom, is special for me because four generations of my family have visited that park. My great grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, me, nieces and nephews. So that's very special to us. Wanting to live stream it, I want to say, is so I could like share the experience with other people, because when I was living in suburban Philly and could only come to the parks like once a year, twice a year if things were good, I would start to, especially during the Wu Tang flu, I saw people streaming and some of their previous streams from the parks, and I'm like, oh, that might be kind of fun to do. Walk around, show people stuff. People ask you questions. People are like, it's like 5 feet of snow up here, but I love that you're walking around in the warm weather. And is this restaurant still here? Or how much is that shirt? Or I'm going to be there in a couple of weeks. What do you recommend? It's just fun to do and fun to share those things, and you kind of see the parks from a different perspective in a way, where
Mhm.
you have people asking questions during a live stream or even dropping comments after after the live stream. So I had no idea what I was in for with respect to streaming from the parks. I had no idea. I thought it was just walk around, hold a camera. Not exactly.
Yeah, we're talking about a little bit. You got to watch what you get on camera, or the audio, probably more than
Oh
anything
yeah.
else these days.
Yeah.
So yeah, and theme park. What about theme parks do you love that got you into deciding to stream like this?
I've always loved Disneyland. I've lived in Southern California basically my whole life, and just Disneyland was the place for me. I loved all the parks, but Disneyland was that special place where, if when we were planning to go to Disneyland, I was not playing with my friends. I wasn't watching TV. I was studying my Disneyland maps. I was writing down all the order of the rides I'm going to ride, the treats I'm going to get, all that stuff. So it's just kind of been a thing that's been in my blood ever since I was little.
Mm-hmm.
And then watching live streamers, it was the kind of thing where it was like I would sit there, watch, you'd be in the chat, and you start get to know people, and it felt like you were all hanging out at the parks together.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I actually finally gave it a shot and tried to do a live stream, all of a sudden it was I literally was doing I did a test stream. I had just bought my gimbal, decided I was at Knott's Berry Farm. I was like practicing with it, and then I said, well, why don't I just go live? I mean, who's going to know that I'm live? So I do it, and within 10 minutes, I had like three of my buddies that, follow me or whatever. They happened to see that I was live somehow, and they jump in the chat. And next thing I know, there was somebody in the chat that said, hey, I saw you. I'm in line at the log ride. And it was just like, okay, this is weird. And it just became a thing where it's like, hey, I'm just hanging out with friends at the parks, and that's really how it feels for me.
Wow, I've heard about that happening with Fortnite, where somebody finds a streamer and somehow finds their lobby, but a theme park, yeah, wow, that's
Oh,
kind of funny to hear.
that happens more common than you think. Like,
Oh
I'll be
wow.
screaming at the parks and someone will say, "Hey, we just passed by you," or even overheard someone saying, "We're all the way in the back. We can't see the fireworks. We got to find a live stream. There's got to be
Yeah.
some blogger that's live streaming it." And I think when I was at Cosmic Rewind, and I think they had like delay with getting people on, and I was like filming it, and people were like, "Hey, I'm all the way back where we first came in. What's going on up front?" So like telling people what's going on and everything. It's crazy. It's fun, but it's just really weird sometimes and funny when you're streaming and someone's like, we just passed you, or hey, we're right behind you, a couple, behind you in line. It's funny.
Well, you both kind of mentioned about how it started. It's in your blood and started from an early age. Like for me, I did not grow up getting to go to theme parks a lot. My parents couldn't afford it. We went a couple times, went with high school. So, but it was like when I got married, when we started going, the missus and I went, and it really changed more when the kids came around. And, and it became more passionate, and especially with our first kid, and it grew and it got, when Disney used to send out those promotional videotapes, the VHSs, my oldest and I would just sit there at night, go to sleep to it, watching it over and over again. Had to warn the daggum tape all, there. And hey, my wife is ratting out on me.
Yeah, man, what about the camera?
Yeah. She used to work for a local television station. I would do that on their live shots. So she was in the production.
Funny.
Exactly.
I'm starting to have more of that. I'm trying to. My demeanor always tends to be, stay the heck away from me, and I'm trying to change that. So I try to walk with a smile now. And if somebody's like looking at me, I'll smile at them instead of, oh, I better not.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, he
just buffered through.
He should be back. He should be back. There we go.
Yeah, there you are. You're back. So hey, so you smile at him now.
That's so I try to smile a little bit more, and it's getting better for me. Let's put it that way.
As long as you don't have somebody like CJ out there saying, "I'm hiding your back."
Well, this is funny, and Dadman, I think you saw this, and Theme Park Cast, I think you saw this too. Where did I go? I was in Candy Cauldron. Yes. Disrespectful Candy Place at Disney Springs. Oh my gosh. Great stuff in there. And I'm like, I'm filming, I'm live streaming, and these girls are like, hi, can we get a picture with you? I'm like, okay. I don't really think I'm anybody important. We love watching your stuff on YouTube. This was right in the middle of a stream.
Nice.
It's the funniest. The funniest thing. It's fun because kind of like Theme Park Casual. When I have like that commando mode on when I first started, it's like, okay, I have to get here, I have to get here, I have to get here.
Right.
It's like, okay, maybe I should look a little bit more inviting, because what will happen, and I've had this happen, Casual, I don't know if you had this happen too, where I will be live streaming, you'll get a guest just like you in the park that'll come up and ask you a question, because they figure if you've got a gimbal, you must know what's going on and how to help them. So that's been kind of cool too.
Yeah. So I haven't had. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was going to say I haven't had anybody ask me a question, but I've had a lot of people. So is that like a selfie stick or something? I have to explain the gimbal and all of that.
Yeah, the DJI. Yeah, I've had that too.
Because didn't Disney, or have Disney still banned the selfie sticks?
Yes, in fact,
and they're different than the gimbals, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for Disney, just so everybody knows, if a friend of mine who does live streaming, he got stopped because his gimbal is the DJI 6 or something like that, and so
with the telescopic,
with the telescoping. So they told him he couldn't bring it in. And then, so I was talking to one of the security guys here another time, and I was telling him about that. He's all, oh, that's somebody who's probably just having a bad day. They normally, they'll let that one go. He's all, but here's a tip. Always make sure that your tripod is attached.
Oh, interesting.
So,
yeah,
just a tip. Always attach your tripod as you're going through security.
All right. Well, now
that's interesting, because I've had to break mine down going through security.
Really?
Because
that's weird.
My bag, because I have to put it like a bag like that.
It's probably just depends on who you get. Then
you just
it does. Sometimes it'll go right through, and I'm like, oh, I didn't go off. They're like, no, you're fine.
No.
Like, okay.
You just go. You do whatever they say. If they'll let you in, go with it. If you need a tripod to it, you put the tripod on it, and it's a big piece of equipment. It's not a telescopic thing. But yeah. So we talked a little bit about the streamer side of it, and we're not going to spend so much time on that tonight because I want you guys to have fun. Let's talk the parks. What is so special about y'all with the parks? Is there special things in the park? I mean, like, do you like the parades better, or the rides, or the entertainment? What when you think of theme park that you really like, what are those key elements you want to see?
Well, I know for me, I definitely want to see or feel immersion. Ever since I was a kid visiting Walt Disney World, it's like as soon as you get on a main street, it looks different, it smells different, it sounds different. It's like nowhere else. And you're in this like amazing fantasy world that you're in. And then of course, like I said, treats, that's one thing. You
Hmm.
see these amazing looking treats that don't look like anything you can get back home. My thing is, it's not something you could get at Dorney Park outside of outside of Philly, or like a Six Flags. And then of course there's the live entertainment, in
Hmm.
front of you. For some people, you can't get to see a Broadway show, but guess what? You get to see a Broadway quality show, when you're at Disney. And then of course there are the attractions, and they're not, like the Carney attractions. They're, every detail is thought of. Like my favorite being, the Haunted Mansion, everything from how the queue looks in the outside to when you get into the foyer, till you see the picture of Master Gracie that goes from his regular face to like skeleton and whatnot, the stretching room. How the heck did they do that? And even things at Epcot, like Test Track, all of
Hmm.
those just rides you wouldn't get to go anywhere else. And like I say on my channel, theme parks are like the physical manifestation of pop culture. And case in point, if you are a comics fan, there's a reason why the Spider-Man ride at Universal in 3D is so
Hmm.
popular, because you actually get to web sling along with Spidey through New York. And it's like, where else do you get to do that? And where else do you get to hear Stan Lee sign off?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
CJ, I'm not surprised. Cute girls. There you go.
I understand. I go to
Yeah,
theme
yeah,
parks for cute guys.
yeah, exactly.
Usually,
There you go.
usually, usually in security.
There you go. Work that connection. Yeah. Hey, there you
Oh
go. If
yeah.
you're going to smooth up to the security guys, and Mark D with a C. Hey, Mark says the Spidey ride is great. You know what happened? I thought it was outdated, but what happened is when I went back with my new glasses that I needed for 10 years, it looked completely different. So it was just bad eyesight. But it was the detail was just amazing. So what about you with this one? I mean, what makes a park special to you?
I don't know really what it is. I mean, obviously, like I said, Disneyland was always a thing when I was little, but it was any carnival, any theme park, any roller coaster, a golf, miniature golf or whatever. There was just something about those little places. And it's like,
Hmm.
even now, if there's like, the traveling carnival in a parking lot somewhere,
Hmm.
I'm like thinking, maybe I should stop and see what they got. It's like, what do they got? They got carnival rides and stuff, but I'm like, oh, it just seems like it's just so fun in there.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it's the contraption, aspect or what, but I love everything that has to deal with, like an amusement center,
Yeah.
really. And the theme parks are those on steroids, especially,
Gotcha.
the Disney, Universals, Knott's. They're
So.
just so grand in what they're doing. And like Reina was saying, there's so many different things, and you don't get to experience those things just anywhere.
Hmm.
And that's what makes them so fun, is you really feel like, I mean, it's true escapism, if you will. Right.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. Let me say a couple things real quick. Stunning and brave. Hey, stunning. Uh, good to see you there.
Again.
Yeah.
Speaking of avatars,
Yeah. Oh,
I love
yeah.
it.
I love that avatar too. But yeah, no, that was earlier today. Maybe later I'll blow up some gas stations here in the Fortnite world. So,
Yeah, I did that too.
hey, Brian Hepburn, welcome in. Welcome. And, my guests are the great Reina, Creole, and Theme Park Casual. Um, and the missus actually said thing from our I don't know what team is doing this, but she loved the personal experiences, character interaction, fun interactions with cast members, especially with the kids who were with us. Because I'll tell you, we have our first kid didn't go till 13. Well, no, several years older. We said no, they won't go to that place because of bugs and all that other stuff and all that. The second kid, Aang, got blessed because Aang was 13 months old and got to the theme park already, so at such an early age. But we got one where they brought back then with the character interactions in Toontown in Orlando in Walt Disney World. They would bring them all together at the end of the night. And we got one with, I think, the fairy godmother with all of them, with the mice and all that all together, holding Aang and her sister next to her. We got memories like that. We had that. It's a priceless picture we've got. We've got, there was one that I told Lorena that they, my missus was pregnant with Aang, and my oldest one loves Star Wars. This kid watched Star Wars Attack of the Clone twice in the theater. And the second time said, Daddy, when are I going to quit romancing and start fighting again? So, that kid loved her Star Wars. Wow. But this is what they did. They walked us into a special thing. It was just me and her. They didn't move the thing. We just watched the movie. And we used our fingers shooting at it at the screen. And those are memories we've had with our kids that really have meant a lot to us. And it's those type of things that when parks go to those links for their guests, make it a better and more pleasurable experience where you do want to come back more often. So that's kind of where we've had like y'all maybe started earlier. Mine has been later in life and really through the kids a lot. So
yeah, for me, I completely agree with you. When I go by myself, I'm
1 month. Excuse me, 1 month old.
Oh, wow.
She went at a month old. My bad.
That sounds like my son. I think I took him. He was 5 or 6 weeks old when we took him the first time for Disneyland. But like you were saying, it's when I go by myself, I'm looking analytically, at the parks for the most part. I'm kind of like, deconstructing things in my head. I'm debating, is this the best way they could do crowd flow and things like that. When you go with your friends, that's when you're making those memories. You have those moments, and like you said, if you talk to most people, there was this time I went with my sister, or I remember me and my mom, we went on this ride. It's like, those are the things that people remember. And that's why even when you hear about, with rides being closed and whatever, don't want to get too political, of course. People don't talk that, oh, it's the ride that I like. It was the ride that I went on with my dad, or I remember taking my son on there the first time and it was his first, big boy ride, or those kind of things. And those are the memories that people are cherishing and are feeling like are being taken away from them. Obviously we have to have progress, but if you talk to most people, it's those are the memories. It's the memories with other people that are the cherished things.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like the time that I tell people, I don't know what I was thinking, but when I brought like 4 kids with me, my nieces and nephews, to Walt Disney World, and we stayed at the Polynesian. I remember we went to Chef Mickey's twice. So the second time that we were there, Minnie comes by, she points to a napkin, takes a pen, and writes, "You're still here." I'm like, she remembers who we are. My nieces and nephews thought that was so cool. They loved it. They loved doing that. My nephew, when they were all driving me nuts, and we were at Star Tours, and the stormtroopers were coming through, the loading area, and I'm like, "You can take this one over here. Actually, you can take all of them." They stop, turn around, and come over and look my nephew right in his face. And then they're just looking. And then they go and they leave. And he's like, "Auntie, that was so cool. You see that?" And then it was
Absolutely.
so cool. It's just it's awesome, moments
Well, we were
moments
those
like that.
parents, the harnesses for kids that you put on
Yes,
your little. We were those
I
parents that
highly
used those.
recommend those.
I agree with you and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But our kids though, I think it happened with both kids. They were wearing them before. Chip and Dale come by. Hey, they took off with the kid. The kid went with them. It's like, well, with them. Like, well, I guess we just farmed out a kid that we like. So yeah, the missus right here said that Chip and Dale always tried to kidnap the kids
Aw.
whenever we had a character meet, and Chef Mickey's Aang fell asleep in Dale's arms.
Oh.
So
Oh, that's so
absolutely,
cute. My youngest
absolutely.
niece, we went to back when they had it, 1900 Park Fair, and they
Hmm.
had the Cinderella meal that
Oh
was there.
yes, yes.
Well, they had the two mice, and my niece was in her Cinderella dress, and I wish I'd videotaped this, but they had her get up and they had her spin around in her dress, and then the two mice were spinning around with their dresses on.
Oh wow.
I was just like, I so wish I could have videotaped that. But it was just so fun. Every time they came by, they would be like, let's spin. And all three of them would do it at the same time. It was cool. It was cool. And not just the adults, not to take the time, not just the adults, but one time I went with my sister and we went to the Cinderella meal. And the fairy godmother came out. We geeked out like little girls.
That's awesome.
100%. We totally did.
There you go. Oh man, that reminds me the 1800 Park Fair. We had I want you to talk to theme park too, but Lorena triggered another memory.
Hopefully a good
I
one.
think it was a good one. It was a good.
Okay.
No, this was the trip I knew that the missus was pregnant with Aang, because later in that trip, the kid Ninja's like, keep spinning, Daddy, and on the teacups, and my wife's like, the bug eyes come up. Stop the teacup now, and I was like, if as oblivious as I got that message. I'm sitting here trying to turn against the thing and the kid, because I got that look. I missed the look all the time, but I got it that night. But on that trip, we went to that restaurant, and it's your birthday. It was her birthday weekend, so you
Mhm.
walk up, and Ninja walked up with her, this little 3-year-old, just all this stuff, and they go, and how old are you? And it was actually Mrs. birthday. She said 39. No, really, 39. It was a great moment. I just wish we had those camera phones back then where you could really record
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that. So, Mark D with a C said, never forget the Pirates of the Caribbean the first time as a young kid. Now the winches are chasing the pirates. Yeah, a little different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I could rant for a very long time about
Mark
that.
D, but then Mark D said he called Tweedledee dumb and he didn't take it kindly. That's so crazy. Now, this is one I'm not familiar with, and y'all might be able to speak because I've never been to Disneyland or California. Brian Hepburn mentioned he didn't like the character meetup lines at Disneyland once they introduced them. They were longer than the ride lines out in the sun. So I don't know if that may have been something in the past or if it's something that's still the way it is now.
It depends. There's certain characters that they do still do the lines for. Others, they kind of wander around and, it's just a general interaction. Usually the bigger names like Goofy, Mickey, all of them, when they're out on Main Street, it's not necessarily like a roped off line, but you got to get in line. Otherwise, it's going to be absolute chaos because there's so many people going around. So, yeah, it's just the nature of there being so many people now.
And it's a smaller park, isn't it? It's smaller than Walt Disney
Oh,
World.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Much
It's
smaller.
the Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and I know the Universal Park out there is smaller than the one in Orlando also. It's like they really, so we're spoiled over here in Florida because it is spread out to some degree. So
the blessing of size.
Yeah. Well, let me say hello to Jeremy. 5 Russia approved. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Jeremy.
Wow.
Good to see you. Good to see you. So we got 10 people watching. Wonderful. Thank you, folks. Hey, smash that like button on the YouTube side. Sub if you haven't. Get your friends, dogs, neighbors, your drunks, as one person in the chat said. Let's just drag them in. Get them to sub that number. We'll get to 250, and maybe I'll do another crazy challenge at 250 or 300. Who knows what. But yeah, and follow us on the Twitch side. Love having your support over there. And the Mrs. comes in with, well, that disappeared. I do not know what's with my clicker tonight. I actually like the lines because there would always be someone that would push themselves to the front and bypass everyone who was waiting patiently.
Yeah.
Well, we started joking about that with Impractical Jokers. It's like Larry, the one skit, one of the actors, one of the comedians does Larry. So we joke about calling for Larry and trying to walk past everybody. But yeah, and we like we said, we'll stay positive and stuff. But yeah, also the parade pushers. Like we would let kids kind of up in front of us, but then other people try to push the adults and stuff. And it's like we were here, and if you gave like 6 inches of a space, how they work. Lorena,
Yeah.
you remember we talked about last year with that you might have been in chat or something, but it was like the Universal Christmas Parade. We actually
Yes.
we found that one bench, and we told you about that bench when they
Mhm.
actually went live. I tell you, I was not kidding. I was playing Rodman, having to put my wings out and post up and block out because
Oh yeah.
it was kind of fun. It's like, dang, it's like full contact. You better get your spot and be ready to fight for it.
We have to do that every time. When I brought all the kids, I said, all right, this is our protocol for lines. This is our protocol for parades. Nobody gets past us whatsoever. I don't care who the heck that they are. It's like, do not let any space in between us where we're waiting there for our spot at the parades. But you would still get people who
Mm-hmm.
would try to like push up. I'm like, no, I don't know who you are. I don't have to give you space. I have seen some people come up where they had young kids with them, and I'll just offer,
Right.
would you like your kid to sit, to sit up front? I'll kind of like offer it that way. But
Yeah.
yeah, you will get people who will try to push and shove, their way. I've had that during live streams where I'm just like, no, no, I'm here waiting just like everybody else. What makes you think that that you can get up there? But yeah, you have to, between
Mm-hmm.
parades and especially fireworks. Parades and fireworks.
Do you find
Yeah.
It
that?
is.
Do you find that the same over there where you are, theme park, and the parks you cover over
Yeah,
there?
it's actually funny because I think it was my last live stream. I was doing the trifecta where you watch World of Color, you see the fireworks, and then you do Phantasmic. And when I was waiting for World of Color, we were right at one of the railings.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's me.
Sorry.
I was right at one of the railings at the lagoon, and I was talking to the chat, and I was mentioning how another streamer, Christine from Attractions Live, had posted something, about, live streamers. We should kind of almost consider ourselves cast members, and we should be very courteous to the people. It may be their only time going and seeing
Mhm.
whatever. And I was talking about that and how me and my friends, we used to go and we'd get a front row seat for the electrical parade. And then just before it would start, we'd find some kids that were in the back and switch places with them so that they get the front row. So I'm doing that, and World of Color starts, and there's this tiny little, probably 5 or 6 year old little girl, and she's like trying to make her way. So I move a little bit. Well, next thing I know,
Mhm.
Dad shoves in the 10-year-old kid and the 14-year-old daughter as well, and I'm like holding the gimbal, and I'm like right next to the railing
Mhm.
that's going to drop it, 30 feet into the lagoon, and the little girl's Mickey ears, are bumping my gimbal, and I'm just like, oh my God, if my phone falls in there, I'm going to be. And it was just like the whole time I'm watching it, I'm sitting there replaying my own words of, we need to be nice to the other guests. And it might be the only time. And I'm just like, I'm getting boxed out by a 4-year-old, and it was just,
That's funny.
Oh,
it
God.
just, I left after the show. I left and I was just telling the chat, I was like, all right. That was a little trying on me. I was almost having to eat my own words right there.
No.
So
But
Well, I'm gonna
I
tell you.
agree. I agree with you, Casual. It's almost like you are, I want to say, like a de facto cast member in a way. You try to be courteous. Like if I'm filming, people will walk in front and say, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. You're
right.
fine. You're fine. Keep going. Don't worry. Don't worry about me." I kind of try to lurk in the background. Even when I do get to parades, my one secret, it's kind of funny. I park right in front of a trash can.
Yep.
because I have space, so I'll kind of like do that. But that doesn't stop people from trying to shove up there between you and the trash can. And sometimes
Oh
it's
yeah.
kind of hard when I want to tell people where they can go because they're being very rude, to other people. But it's yeah,
Well,
you
we have
kind
this
of
thing. We have this thing where we do it where we start talking about them in front of them out loud. Yeah, tell them to, we're just making the comments obviously to the person because you got all the noise blaring and we just get it louder and louder, try to see if they can hear us or if they just blatantly ignoring us just to see what we can get away with. Yeah, that's just the southern redneck comes out with that. It's like, yeah, we know the line to stop from being those video the incidences though, but it's like, golly, what people will push through. It's amazing. So, and I tell you,
yes.
the little old ladies are rough too. I mean, that's who I was blocking out when I made the Rodman comment. It's like,
I will tell you, the worst people are moms with their kids. I saw this one family, the one mom literally almost threw their kids. This was back when they kind of allowed you to do that, like in the parade route.
yeah.
I'm like, lady, are you nuts?
We had one at the Christmas parade walk out and parade road. They had to shoo her back in. It's like, yeah. Or here's one the missus has. Favorite is when they cross the street, then stand in front of you, thinking you will just step back and let them in front.
Like, not today.
No, see, at MGM or Hollywood Studios, we learned early what the lines were because everybody waits for the ropes, but those gold lines in the cement, we knew where they were, so we knew to park right on top of them and stuff like that. And where people were clueless and stuff like that, so you knew you better block out every little inch because at that yeah, it's crazy, so you just have to do it, and it's fun that we can laugh back. Hey, we got 11 people still hanging out with us tonight. That's awesome, folks. Hey, thank you. And I got the great guest here at Theme Park Casual and Reina Creole for a little longer, so we'll keep moving on with some of the things I want to try to cover with you guys. One thing that I appreciate both of you as streamers and creators, y'all seem to go anywhere and everywhere. A lot of times the big channels, or at least what I've seen, stay at all the big parks and stuff like that. But theme park and maybe Knott's Berry is considered a big park over there. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with it, but it's something new and different to me. It's not Disneyland. It's not Universal. You cover Knott's Berry at least, and maybe others. Lorena, Gatorland. Nothing says freaking Florida but Gatorland, And those are some of the great streams that are out there, and they're different. I mean, what attracted you to those smaller type parks for streaming?
The skunk thing?
Because they're kind of like hidden gems, so to speak. It's like everybody goes to Disney, everyone goes, to Universal, but there are a lot of these other smaller attractions that are there that have their own, charm. Like, where else can you go to a theme park that just has gators in it and just
capybaras?
and what? Yes, and I did
Capybaras.
not know what the heck that was. But
Aang loves capybaras.
where you can go, feed the little baby gators with like a fishing pole, little kids, you can go and do that, just
There you
so
go.
cheesy Florida that it's like you just have to check it out. So each one has its charm. Like SeaWorld, which I'm hoping to get to this summer, is like another one. I haven't been there since I was like a kid, like 9 years old. So a lot of these smaller parks have a lot of charm to them, and also I think they do a better job of, I guess, giving you more of a personal experience. Not that Disney doesn't do that, but it's a bit different. Like when I go to Gatorland, having Meemaw basically say, "Oh, so you got visitors from out of town? Okay, well, you know what? We're just going to charge them the Florida resident rate,
yes,
to get it." I'm like, "Oh, okay, thank you, thank you." They're like, "Oh yeah."
By the way, Lorena, here's a capybara for you, borrowed from Aang. So
I didn't know what that thing was when I first saw it. I'm like, what is that? I have no idea.
Cute.
No idea what it was.
All right. Well, theme park, what do you think about that with the different things?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like they're the little gems that are on the side of the road kind of thing. And Knott's is it's more than just a side park. So it's one of those ones where it wasn't intended to be a theme park. It kind of grew into becoming a theme park.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little different than Disneyland. Disneyland was done with the idea that we're building a park here. Same thing with all the others, but Knott's Berry Farm kind of just grew into what it is, and
Right.
that's what I think is really neat. It's like there's so much history there that
Mhm.
it's really fun to be able to walk and realize that some of these buildings were really taken from a real ghost town.
Mm.
So it's that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and stuff like the blacksmith and they've got the Native American dancer.
Mhm.
Disney doesn't do that kind of stuff anymore.
Right.
They've kind of let those things really fall by the wayside, and I find those to be something that's necessary for a theme park to add that realism. And
Mhm.
Disney does a great job at immersion, but there's that extra little layer that a place like Knott's does
Right.
that Disney doesn't really put their hand in anymore.
And Brian mentions the food because I know you posted all kinds of pictures, especially from Knott's. Saying that it can be fun because of the seasonal themes, and they had the best funnel cakes and chicken pot pie.
Yep.
Wow.
In
All right.
fact, somebody asked me on one of my streams. They said if you had somebody that was deciding between going to Disney California Adventure and Knott's, which one do you tell them? And I said it's a toss up. I said, but simply because of the food, go to Knott's.
Yep. I can understand Disney foods. There are some really good Disney restaurants, but it becomes kind of either chain if you get the smaller places or too expensive on the other end. Let me say hello to a friend of mine, Yemi. Hey, Yemi. Hey, have fun doing taxes. Glad you
Hello.
could drop in tonight. Have some fun. Hopefully, we can entertain you a little bit while you're doing taxes tonight. So good to see you. All right. Well, let's see. Okay. Well, that's the other thing. Lorena might be able to hit this question more. I'm not sure with theme park with your experience with uh, theme park hotels. I don't know if Knott's has them. I think Disneyland has one or two. But
They have
do y'all cover
two,
that?
right?
They've got two large hotels, and they're revamping one that they had purchased. That's
Okay.
Right.
always been kind of a paper thin theme on it. So
So when it comes to, do y'all like covering the hotels too, or do you find times where you just? I know Lorena has had some where she goes there just for the food to eat the hotel. I see the
Oh
excitement.
yeah.
Oh yeah, but you too, theme park. What about the hotels out there? Do you do much? Have you had a chance to do much with them yet?
I
And
have
like
stayed at
food stuff?
at the Disneyland Hotel and the Grand Californian. I haven't stayed at the. I don't even know if it's still the Paradise Pier Hotel right now. It's changing
Mm-hmm.
into the Pixar Hotel, but I've stayed at both of the Disney hotels, and they're very nice, but it's a different experience than what they do in Florida. Florida,
Okay.
each hotel is almost a resort in its own. They've got usually tons of restaurants and things to do at the hotels, whereas out here the hotel is basically a hotel with a pool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've
And
got some stuff, but it doesn't feel the same way that you see the resorts in Florida.
right, and even not and beyond just the monorail resorts in Florida, even the value and the moderates, they have their own themes, and
Right.
you could
Hmm.
spend some time in. I mean, we would do that at times before we take a rest day and just stay at the hotel, do everything there and stuff like that. But I was curious about that because I know they had that one old one that was built, I think, when it was many years ago, and I didn't know how many they had over there. Whereas Florida, obviously, they've got. I mean, they had the land to expand into to build the hotels everywhere. So,
Hmm.
um, and the food experiences. Lorena, when it comes to hotels, what do you like to do? But anything other than food? I mean, obviously, but the food is great.
Yeah, food is great. Let's see. If I'm staying there, of course the pools. Love the pools. The pools are pretty much no matter where you stay. There's some that are more themed than others, but I love the pools. Love doing the little I guess activities that they'll have going on. Sometimes they'll have like movie nights where they'll have it out like
Hmm.
by the pool. Uh what other things? I usually just like to rest and sleep a lot. If
Yeah.
it's in, if it's an off day. When I am visiting, though, like say if I'm resort crashing, that's what me and my family call it. We call it resort crashing. So it's like, say our favorite thing was to go to the Animal Kingdom, then we take the
Hmm.
bus over to the Animal Kingdom Lodge and just hang out in the lobby, which is themed. I hope they don't change it. There's just, especially at Christmas, because I visited at Christmas and I've stayed at the Animal Kingdom Lodge at Christmas, and just how nice the hotel is themed, shopping in the gift shop that's there. You know, you can go get coffee, whatever, just to relax and soak up the atmosphere. Because sometimes the parks are so full of like a sea of humanity,
Hmm.
you just need to get away for a little bit. And what a lot of people don't know is you can just go to any of the resort hotels. You can eat there. You can
Hmm.
just chill there, even just crash in the lobby if that's what you want to do, because that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like the Grand Floridian, when I stayed
Yeah.
there around Christmas, I couldn't get to the main lobby at night
Wow.
because there were too many people.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, I like especially the one of the things with the hotels that I stayed at with some of our memories. Well, one with the kids were smaller. We now it was post 2001, and anybody that traveled back then knew you could get deals like crazy. You could get I could get rooms in the Contemporary Park View less than 200 a night. I mean, you had ways to do that, and with our kids being really young, it was convenient being that close to the hotel with a monorail with his stroller. There were some things with that, but one of the things that we really like to do is if you could get that theme park view, like from the Contemporary, you
Hmm.
got a beautiful view of the Magic Kingdom lights at night. Pull the curtains open, just either watch off the balcony or go to sleep with the Magic Kingdom in the background.
Yeah, I mean, I love doing that. When I was a kid, of course, my parents we couldn't afford to stay at
Uh,
on Disney property, so we would stay like on 192, that tourist strip that looks like Coachella Avenue in front of Disneyland. It's
Basically,
like,
be careful on 192. So
yes,
yes,
yes, it's got its good parts and it's got its not so good parts. But the part near Disney,
yeah, yeah,
it's
it's
pretty
good.
okay. But like we would stay there, and I just loathed having to get to the car, and then takes like an hour just to get out of the parking
Yeah.
lot. So when I finally had my own money, I stayed at the Polynesian,
Hmm.
and the Polynesian and a water view. Like they called it the lagoon view, but you actually got some of the to see some of the castle. And I loved
Yeah.
going to sleep and I'd see the castle at night, or get up in the middle of the
Hmm.
night and see,
Yep.
Cinderella's castle, just to be able to go out on my patio, watch the
Hmm.
fireworks, not have to deal with the mosh pit
Yep.
and the
Yep.
Magic Kingdom. And you could see it from there.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best memories that I have. Of course, now it's obscenely expensive
Yeah. That's
to have
yep.
that kind of view, but there was nothing
Yeah.
nothing like it.
Yeah. At one time it was more affordable, and you could justify the expenses, and we
Yeah.
did do that. But watching fireworks from the balcony, one of the other place, and one of the other things I liked with the Contemporary was so good because the extra magic hours that they had at the time. We have
Mhm.
pictures of our kids. My oldest, who was probably 5 at the time, it was like May something, and it was like 2:56 a.m. and on Tomorrowland Speedway. So that's another great memory, especially staying in some of the hotels there that had
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
that thing. And let me give it two things here. Brian is saying we stayed at Paradise Pier before the kids. It was the Disneyland Pacific Hotel before California Adventure was there. It was
That's right.
nice for more older age guests. So
Yep.
Okay.
and then the missus says before they changed the policy, we booked Contemporary Tower room on the last day of value rates, then through Christmas, and we get the price of value rate every night.
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember this because when
yeah.
I was back in the day on the Diz boards, I spent a lot of time on the budget boards, and we were
Hmm.
always giving people budget tips for like how to save for Disney. And that was the one trick that they always let people know. It's like if you check in, even if the next day the price goes up, you get the value rate throughout the whole stay.
Yep.
So for some people, that made like the monorail resorts cheaper. And it's just like, okay, now we can actually afford to go as long as, we leave by then. Once they took that away, it was just like, it was a real blow. But I loved having that. That's what I did one time at the Polynesian. Checked in
Yep.
at value rate and stayed all the way
Especially at
through
Christmas. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
New Year's Day.
I did have one other memory talking about Christmas. I did go from the Contemporary to the Magic Kingdom one day, walked in, stood up by the castle, looked back, and I swear out of Casey's hot dogs, there were 6 people shoulder to shoulder out both doors and around the building. So I did do Christmas Day and Magic Kingdom once, and that was enough. So.
Oh God, we did that one year because my mother was like, yeah, we're finally gonna go to Disney World for Christmas. And then we were there Christmas Day, and she said, I don't ever want to do this. She's just like, where are all these flipping people coming from? Because we would come in the summer and we were used to it, but my mom was just like, oh no, never again.
Yeah. Well, let me say hello to a couple people. We got Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
Lisa.
Welcome. And Balzette, welcome. Great to see y'all coming in. Go back and watch the earlier part or later, when you get a chance afterwards. How's Chillin going? It's going good. We're chilling out. We got a little bit more time and a few more things to take to hit. So definitely go back and watch the earlier part when you get a chance. We're on Twitch and YouTube. Smash that like button. We got 14 people watching now. Wonderful. Thanks, folks. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and follow us on the Twitch side too. So, okay, so we talked about Christmas another. So a couple more topics I know because we're getting close on time a little bit. Let's see. Your favorite ride. If you had to pick one favorite ride anywhere in any park, what would it be?
Oh man, that question.
Oh. And I will also branch it into also see if there's a favorite ride at Disney World or Disneyland and Universal. So, but ultimately, that's kind of like 3-part question. What's your favorite ride at Universal? What is there a favorite ride at Disney? And then is there a favorite ride anywhere that you in any park?
Gosh, man, Ghost Rider, the roller coaster at Knott's, is my favorite roller coaster that I've ever been on. And I think the only ride that I would put above it, as far, for my personal preference, would be the Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland. The Indiana Jones Adventure is, I think, my absolute favorite ride because it's got everything. It's got the thrills, it's got the theming, it's got the immersion, it's got the dark ride aspect. It's got everything. It really is a full package. A close second would be Tower of Terror in Florida. That one I think is a phenomenal attraction, and it's the only disappointment. The only knock I give it is that it's because of the drop aspect. It keeps too many people away from experiencing a fantastic ride.
Right. Yeah. Well, in the early days, it was only one drop.
Right.
And then they finally realized people were like, that's it, kind of like any free fall. It was just, that's it. So I remember when they did the retheming or Tower of Terror 2, there's a big pass holder thing. Lorena, you remember those events when they brought that back out? And it was a big thing. And then you got to ride it and it became more like a yo-yo and stuff like that. But yeah, great theming though. Absolutely a great ride.
Perfect theming.
Yeah. What about you, Lorena?
Let's see. Well, at Universal, I love thrill rides, but I'm going to say at Universal, it's got to be the Spider-Man attraction. If you're a comics head, it is just, the theming is just dead on, especially when you're walking through the foyer for the Daily Bugle. You see this big, huge ass picture of J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
it's great. Like I said, I love thrill rides, but the Spider-Man attraction there is just it's off the chain. There's a reason why it's so popular and moves through a whole lot of people.
Mhm.
As for Disney World, these I cannot choose between the two, so I'm gonna have to say both. Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
I
Alrighty.
both of them, the theming is insane, and the effects. When I was a kid, I'm like, how do they have fire and it's not burning down? And why do
Yep.
those people keep running around? And what did they do with like all the costuming and
Yep.
everything, and the effects in the Haunted Mansion, especially the ballroom scene where you see, the
Mm-hmm.
dancers first blowing out the candles and then they disappear, and the duelists and the
Mm-hmm.
stretching room. I'm just like, how do they do that? And I still have that how do they do that um
Yep.
response every
Right.
time every
Yep.
time I go on those.
Well, we got some people in the chat. Lisa says she likes water rides. They don't make her dizzy.
Ah.
CJ says the only part of Tower of Terror I remember from 1999 is the drop. Yeah, I agree. And Mark D with a C says I was too scared to go on Tower of Terror. Wish you could do it without dropping.
Yeah,
So,
see, that's the shame. It's the same thing with Splash Mountain. It's like, it's such a
yeah.
fantastic ride. I wish there was a way to be able to let people do it and then just not have to deal with the drop.
Yeah, that
Mm.
drop is what turns a lot of people
Yeah.
off. But for crazy people like me,
Heck yeah.
and yes, the cast members do pay attention to just how crazy hyped up you are. They will drop you. I've been dropped 6 times.
Oh, yeah. There you
Because
go.
we had a crazy group of people that
Yep.
were in there. But sometimes if there's little kids, they won't really drop it as much. Just going,
Yeah. Kind of
okay,
like. Well,
yeah.
Lisa went on Teacups Never Again. Lisa, I don't think you were here for the story I told earlier. I'll make it quick. I knew the missus was pregnant with our second child when I got the bug eyes. Like, stop the teacup now. As oblivious I am to
Oh,
anything else my wife says, I got the
Yeah.
message that day, really quickly,
oh,
and then we knew a couple days later it was coming. So there was a reason for that dizziness. So, oh man, that's hilarious. So let me see. We got. Oh my gosh, we got 16 people. I'm like,
thank you
wow.
guys so
Thank you
much for
guys.
being here. Hit that like button, share the stream.
Wow, it's like, gosh, I won't be able to. I can't let y'all go. It'll be mine. Dadman's haunted mansion, Lorena theme park. You can't leave, or you're the happy haunt that goes. But yeah, but I know we're getting short on time, and a few more things I want to get in through here real quick. But let me
No
get to this here with
worries.
Mark. Mark, Pirates is of all time favorite, plus the indie stunt shows, Star Tour, Spidey, Back to the Future, Haunted Mansion, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Which, you know what? Maybe we need to do another theme park show on old rides that we remember, like
Mhm.
20,000
Oh,
Leagues or something. Just a
mm-hmm.
thought for one day as a different thing, because we always focus on what's here and now, but what were the things that were great that we grew up with
Right.
beyond the e-ticket books.
Mhm.
But I tell you, oh gosh. Brian says the original version of Pirates with fog at Disneyland was really great. The sky buckets going through the Matterhorn was really cool too.
Yeah, I missed the Skyway. I
Yeah.
missed the Skyway.
They took it out of Orlando also, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't miss it. I'm not a guy. I hate Ferris wheels, so I like going high. Lorena, I'm about to show something. I'm about to show something just me, and you know what I'm about to show or try to
Okay.
show. So,
Okay.
but it's yeah, Mark, you don't want crazy rides. The hell with the heart
Uh,
doctor, Mark, is my thing. So yes, that was an 8 foot drop. It was a great drop in the Pirates though. So
mhm.
Oh yeah, we were
yeah.
like, "Woo, drop is
Then I
coming."
was like, after that, I was like, where's the next drop? There's no more drops, kid.
That's
So
what threw me off at Disneyland when I read Pirates of the Caribbean. There, I'm like, "There's 2 drops. This is insane. I freaking love it."
Oh, okay. I'm going to try to do something dangerous here. So I am going to share screen and I'm going to bring it up. Lorena, you will have memories. because well, let me make sure I share the right screen because my computer's decided to be slow. Uh-oh. Hold on. Window. Oh, it's different on the Google Chrome side than on my other side. So I will say that we're up to 17. Hi, everybody, whoever came in the last second. Love it. Lorena, I actually will actually say I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to get to ride my favorite ride with Lorena Creole. And it is this beautiful thing with the hat tip with the nearly 90-degree fall.
Woo! The
The Velocicoaster.
Velocicoaster. Ah,
I got a couple of things, and let me know if y'all can hear the audio, okay? If you can hear the audio,
Okay.
because I'm going through a different browser tonight to see if the audio comes through. So let's see if this plays right. Remember, this is almost 90%, 90-degree down, and when you're in the front car up there, your butt is off the seat at that point. You are not sitting in there. You got to be thankful for that shoulder harness and stuff. So let's see. Uh-oh. Oh, no. There we go.
There you go. We're going.
That was it.
That's
the drop there.
That drop is insane. You know the cartoons where they have the roller coaster in the front, it drops down and then it kind of hangs there, and the people that are last are like they hang there and then they get sucked back down. Yeah, that's pretty much what this is like. This was Universal's worst kept secret.
Exactly. Aang was telling me all about it before we went. And Yami, when we have class down in Orlando, I will take you to Universal and we'll ride this ride together, my friend.
Yeah, gotta do front row.
Exactly.
Front
exactly. Row. Well, let's take another. Were y'all able to hear the sound on that one?
I didn't hear sound.
I didn't hear
Okay,
sound.
that may not be, but anyway, I'll play the other two real quick because this is low level.
And that ride looks so awesome. I am dying to be able to get there and ride it.
And your head's just above the water. The first time I rode that, especially in daylight, you're like, holy crap, my head's in the water. But it's not.
Especially when it turns you like upside down when you're going over the water. So you're turning and twisting at the same time. It's like you almost feel you're about to fall out. But it goes with the theming of the Velocicoaster because it's like, oh, nothing could possibly go wrong, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then they have that second launch, and that's kind of like where things just go nuts. And when you're there, you hear like Hammond's voice welcoming you to Jurassic World. It's a hoot. It's so much fun. It is not for the super faint of heart, but man, I'm telling you, roller coaster enthusiasts, you can tell who we are. We're trying to get in the front row. We're clapping before the darn thing takes off.
Yeah, and you wait. It forms its own standby line to get the front row. Did we ride the front row that night? I think we did, didn't we? Or did we get?
Did we do? I don't think we did.
We were up front. We were close to the front, but it doesn't matter whether you're front or back. It goes off. Well, I got one more to show y'all with this, and I'm going to try to do something different. I'm going to have my headphones against my mic, so maybe that y'all can hear the audio on this one because the audio is critical on this one. So let's see if this works. Hold on. So really experimenting tonight.
Oh yeah, there's a train. Yeah,
love that.
It is so cool at night.
Were you able to hear the voice on that one?
I didn't really hear the voice.
I could hear a little bit, but I couldn't make out everything.
Oh, I had to do it. Well, that was Aang. Aang was saying, here come these beautiful, magnificent creatures. About here they come again. Right there, it's like 2 passes through there. So I've got to work on the audio part of this thing. That's the one thing I've got to experiment with so the audio comes through. But,
I will say, I wish Tron was as fast and as long as this coaster was. It's just nuts.
this is really a fast roller coaster and really is a long roller coaster
Mm-hmm.
um, by modern standards. You know, normally
Yes.
you're in and off. I mean, Rock and Roller Coaster was a great coaster, but it's over in like you blink, it's done.
Yeah.
This one
Yeah.
had, and I think it had that second. It has that first part, then it has that second shoot off,
Yeah.
followed by that hat tip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Yes.
Yeah.
it all just plays together. And maybe it's the way they break it up into two parts that gives you that feel like it's longer.
I think so because Slinky Dog Dash has the same thing in a way. There's
Oh
two
yeah.
launches to Slinky Dog Dash,
Hmm.
and it works perfectly.
I will say that that's probably one of Disney's best rides.
Oh,
Two
Slinky
rides
Dog
that they
Dash.
come out. Slinky Dog Dash is
Yeah.
awesome.
Huh.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is fun. Hey, forget it being a kiddie type. It's not a kiddie roller coaster. It's for adults. You can like it too. That and the Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
freaking love that.
Just
Love
love
it.
that. So, but yeah, but yes, that is one of the that is my favorite ride anywhere that there is around. So, and obviously, like I said, I got to ride it with Lorena because we had dinner there that night, and the missus was I glad Lorena was there to ride with Dadman because I will never ride it. So, well,
That's
you
my
sound
wife.
like Lisa. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like your wife too.
Yeah. She's not the coaster.
No.
Yeah, she hasn't been on. Well, when we went to Disney World in 2000, that's when I proposed, and I
Uh
think
huh.
that's the only reason I was able to get her on Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror, Splash
Yeah.
Mountain, because otherwise it's like she'll do Thunder Mountain with us once, and then she's done for the day with roller coasters, and it's like, okay, I can do Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland now.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Now, Bowsette says roller coasters are fun as hell. Favorite is Ninja. Don't know if it's still operational. Where is Ninja
Where's
at? What part?
Ninja?
Yeah.
I
Why does
believe
that sound familiar?
if that one, it should be Six Flags Magic Mountain here in Southern California.
Yes, which brings me another story. So when I was
Okay.
working in California, my youngest sister came to visit me. We're both coaster enthusiasts. She's like, "Can you take the day off so we can go to Six Flags Magic Mountain?" I'm like, "Heck yeah!" Because that's like what we would see on television. It's like Six Flags Magic Mountain, and that's where we went and did so many coasters. That's just like all we did. It was just
Oh
so
Yeah.
wow.
fun. But yeah, I remember Ninja.
Yeah,
That
unfortunately, I believe it's still operational, but I've heard rumors that it's approaching end of life.
right.
So they would
Well,
have to either completely retrack it.
Ah,
and Bowsette said this one was in Georgia.
Oh,
So if it's a Six Flags park, I would imagine it would be at both
yeah,
possibly. So,
because
but yeah.
it's not at Six Flags Great Adventure. Great Adventure has a
Mhm.
King to Ka, which is the only coaster I've gotten on, and was like, okay, maybe this is not such a good idea
Yep.
because of how. Whoo, that one was insane.
Well, we got another Six Flags, the American Eagle at Six Flags. And I see this is something I like. I like a good old wooden
Oh,
roller coaster because of the
yes.
yeah,
sounds and stuff like that. It really is a cool thing to get
yeah.
those.
Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm's a Woody,
Yeah.
and oh man,
Yeah.
But
it's
there
That
aren't many
fantastic.
left, are there? I mean, they're really, it's all now metal still.
um
And it,
They're
I mean,
they're kind of going into hybrid
yeah.
stuff right now. A lot of the RMC coasters, I believe, are hybrid. So
Mhm,
they'll take a Woody and then
mhm.
retrofit it with steel track and steel
mhm,
support. But yeah, Woodies are somewhat of a dying breed now.
Yeah.
mm,
I think
wow. I mean,
that's
they're
what
true.
they did at Dorney Park, which has
Yeah.
I think they had two wooden roller coasters. And I think they've been retrofitted since Knott's bought them.
Yeah. And there was
Yeah.
a Screaming Eagle or something like that, I think, at Dollywood. I went to Dollywood and there was at least one wooden coaster up there years ago.
Oh.
So yeah. Oh, by the way, Lorena, how is Tron? You did a review on your channel, didn't you, with that?
Yeah, I did a review. I actually did a ride on, so you can hear me screaming a little bit and all
Right.
the other people with me. Tron, how would I put this? It's too short,
Hmm.
extremely short. There
Yeah.
is no themed queue. It's like
Wow.
basically you're outside at a rave, and by the time you get in, there's like a 10-second pre-show, and then boom, they shove you up in the loading area. So they could have done so much more with that ride. It's fun, but if you have thick calves, that restraining bar that comes down over your calf will be extremely irritating. That's all I
Oh,
could think about
oh,
during the
you
whole
know,
ride. So they're gonna have to retrofit that.
oh, the heck with the calves. That little jock strap thing on the Mummy ride. That thing is painful. What the hell with Universal with that thing right in the middle for a guy that's like short? He's got to be able to jump up and over it. So
For the
it's no,
mummy, I want to say they've changed that. I want to say that they don't have that anymore. I don't think
oh my
because
gosh.
they went through a renovation, and
Oh
I went during
yeah.
the technical rehearsal, and I don't remember that being there.
Well,
So I think
good
they've
because all
gotten
I
rid of that.
remember it was uncomfortable to try to get on that road. Hey, but Stunning's got the key. If you want to ride a ride, no trick. The trick is close your eyes. So exactly.
And that
And
only works until the G forces kick your
Yeah,
ass.
I was gonna say.
absolutely. And Brian here is a Railblazer at California Great America is the current favorite
Ah.
coaster and the
Yeah,
Demon.
I've never been able to get to Great America. I need to do that. They're scheduled to close in like 10 years, so I want to get up there.
What the park is closing?
Yeah. The park was sold, and I think they've got a 10-year wind down, basically.
Oh, that stinks. Well,
Yeah.
well, Lisa said my speed, the really slow old time cars that were on a track. Tomorrowland Speedway, yeah. But as kids, we fought over that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the bomb of ride. I know when my kids were little, it was like the hot thing to do. Although Dollywood had some of these where you just got in a car, it was like it just drove itself around. You were like in
Mm-hmm.
50s or 60s type of
Mhm.
cars back then. And you just kind of rode slowly around. It was kind of a neat little ride. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, something for everybody. And Balzette says Batman is the second favorite. So it's
I didn't get a
yeah.
Batman ride. We had a Superman ride at Six Flags Great Adventure. Superman ride and a Green Lantern coaster.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
weird because the Six Flags, since they have so many parks, they name them the same, but it's a completely different coaster. So what maybe Batman in one park is, a standard sit down coaster, like the
Mhm.
Batman in Magic Mountain is a suspended coaster.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ah.
there's all kinds of different things, and it's almost annoying. It's like, come on, just come up with different names for all of them, so we're not confused.
Absolutely. So, and theme park, your visits to Florida, you made one visit to Florida. What do you
Yeah.
think of Orlando, the complex? Epcot, Hollywood.
I
Compare.
loved it.
What do you think it, especially if you can compare it to, because somebody like me, to California, because I've never been to the Disneyland parks over there in California.
Well, Disneyland, everything is so much more compact, and you'll get
Mhm.
basically almost everything you get in Florida, minus an Animal Kingdom. You'll get it all in 2 parks.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it, the lion's share of that, is in Disneyland. Disneyland, I think, has the highest amount of attractions for any Disney park anywhere. And it's just going to be, if you're used to Florida, when you come to California, it's culture shock with how small everything is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's vice versa. When you're used to California and you go to Disney World, you're just like, my God, this place is huge. Everything is gigantic. And you feel, it's like, when you're walking from Space Mountain to Splash Mountain in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
it's a hike. Doing that at Disneyland, it's probably less than 2/3 of that distance, maybe even only half.
Wow.
So,
I've always said that when we kept going all the time when the kids were small, it was the best workout program I ever had, because in the old Fast Pass system, which, by the way, everybody check out Lorena's channel. We're about 40 minutes into the Fast Pass sleep app.
Seven episodes and you're 40 minutes in. Way to go,
Yes,
guys.
keep watching that. Go back and look at the history of the Fast Pass, because it was that legacy paper system. I had it mastered, and I was the sprinter all around the park. The best workout you could ever get, but I guess I wouldn't get that kind of workout over in California with it being smaller. So
Love those shows, by the way, guys. Those are fantastic. I mean, the documentary was great, but you guys doing the EFAP thing, that's so cool. Very cool.
That
Thank
it was
you.
fun.
We're having a blast.
Yeah,
I'm so
it's
Absolutely.
glad
it's
folks
a good
enjoying that.
time.
So, all right. Well, thanks for that comparison because I know that's something that I wondered here. In a few remaining minutes, let's talk about the big thing that's the hottest. And it may, if we get a little controversial, we'll get a little controversial here. But you know what? Especially on the heroes of the Super Mario Brothers movie, which, by the way, I'm doing a review and talk with AFK Bard tomorrow night here on YouTube and Twitch at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Everybody, so make plans to be there. We're going to talk
Hmm.
about that movie. You know what's coming? Epic Universe. Now, Universal down in Florida is still being it's constructed. Lorena's
Hmm.
she conceived the work. Now,
Yes.
have they opened it in California yet? Are they doing one in California or?
No, they don't. They're not going to do an Epic Universe. I believe they're getting. They just opened the Super Mario World
Hmm.
Okay.
or Super
Where
Nintendo World,
where did
Yeah.
and
they
then
open that? Was that in
it,
another park or is it a standalone park?
no, it's in Universal Studios.
Okay.
And I believe there's talk that they're already prepping to take down some of the sound stages that are connected to Super Nintendo World and get it prepped for either Donkey Kong or
Hmm.
Zelda.
Oh wow.
So
Interesting you should
Wow.
mention Zelda
Yes.
because Poseidon's Fury
yep.
is about to close. And I have been
Mm-hmm.
saying for a year, if they're going to put something in there,
Yep.
Zelda is going to fit perfectly.
Yep. It's the architecture is made for it, and really
Exactly.
Poseidon. When we saw that it had been closed down after the whatever thing we call it,
Hmm.
and never reopened until like last year, it was like there was always the rumor, well, just retheme it and make it Zelda. There was a common choice, but they reopened it Poseidon's Fury just to close it down promptly. So, but Lorena, what's the buzz down there? I mean, everybody. I know my kids. They're adults. They're jacked.
Hmm.
They're stoked. Anything Nintendo, Mario, they got this on the calendar waiting for this. How? What are you hearing? What's the feedback about the expectation?
Expectations are really, really high. I mean, Nintendo has bigger brand recognition around the world than Disney does. And when you talk about the kids now, Disney isn't as big as, like I say, when we were kids, but Nintendo, that's something that crosses generations from like
Mm-hmm.
our age to like, little kids. So people are really excited about this park coming, Epic Universe. So the third park, there's just so much that's going on that's being built over there. Just to give you an idea of just like how popular Nintendo is, over in Epcot in the Japan Pavilion. Been going there for years in the Mitsukoshi department store. They have probably like a quarter of their space dedicated to anime and
What a
all
quarter!
of this Nintendo stuff, and it's picked through and picked clean regularly. So this park is going to be a hit when it opens.
Wow, and they got that much dedicated to anime.
Yes, in
Huh.
Mitsukoshi at Japan Pavilion. That's something I would go there for years.
Mm-hmm.
I took like my nephews. They were heavily into anime, so they had everything there: plushies, swag, collectibles, posters, and people are just combing through that stuff.
Mm, yeah. Oh man. Well, I just I know anime is popular with the misses, with the kids, but I tell you, Mario, anything Nintendo has just been with the kids, and the dying
Hmm.
to any new game release, it's first on the thing. Ang hasn't been uh, wild about a lot of movies and stuff, but this Super Mario Brothers was, and you know what? They worked their butt off to get there earlier to get that popcorn bucket from AMC. So that's the kind of draw that this Nintendo is bringing, and it's something fresh, something different, and
Hmm.
it will be interesting to see how they fit that in that area. From what Lorena, since you know the area better, sometimes they try to put too much in too small of an area. Do
Hmm.
you? Does it look like they have room that they're going to build it sufficiently, or do you think that may be something that they
They
get in trouble with space?
No, they have a ton of room. I can't even, I would say it is probably than bigger than or very close to the size of Islands of Adventure. This park has
Wow.
so much space that they're building, and every time I drive by, I'm amazed at how huge it is. And biggest their biggest park, there's so much space. Um, yeah, it's
No.
it's just so much fun watching this park. I've never seen a park built from the ground
Mm-hmm.
up
Oh yeah.
before. So every time I drive by, I'm like, okay, that's the Universal Monsters Mansion. There's Nintendo. There's the Mario Kart tracks.
Yes.
That
Got to
are
have
getting
Mario
put
Kart.
up. Oh
So
yeah,
they are going to have they decided what themes? You mentioned monsters, the
there's
Universal monsters.
monsters. There's How to Train Your Dragon. Of course, the Ministry of Magic from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So they have that. Nintendo, and there's a fifth one that I cannot remember. Go check out Theme Park
Yeah.
Wizards
Yeah.
videos about that. Eventually, I will
Yeah.
start doing
Yeah.
videos about Epic
Just,
Universe, but
but it's so good to be a fan of parks. To be exciting, like you said, watching something being built from the ground up. That's something
yes.
we've never been able to have, and even Disney World in its original days, nobody saw that being built because it
Right.
was in the middle of a swamp,
Hmm.
and
No
and
one's
then
going.
yeah, the
But this is
Gators, the
literally, you leave, every time I leave Universal to drive home, I'll make that left turn on Sand Lake Road, and boom, that's where all the construction is going on for Epic
absolutely.
Universe.
You're not old and beat up, Bowsette, but hey, we'll meet you at Super Mario World when it opens. Do they have a date on
Uh
that? Is that
yes,
2024 or 2025?
2025, but I would not be surprised if it opens in 2024 because the construction is going at a crazy clip.
Wow,
I
that's
mean, it's
you,
insane. They're probably getting bonuses for getting this done early.
and you know what? That's a good way to maybe somebody should have thought about it when they implemented a fast pass system when they got the contractors. Sorry,
Mm,
Hmm.
well we'll say that for our EFAP again.
yeah.
When you get back to that. But yeah, it's a thing, and I know we're out of time. It's been a blast. I mean, there's still stuff we could talk about. I'll have to get reorganized. Maybe we can do this again when y'all want to and have some fun. I want to try to have some fun memories and laughs and stuff like that with the theme parks and stuff like that with you guys. Because to me, you're the two best streamers out there when it comes to theme parks. So,
Well, thank
Oh, thank
you.
you.
and I'm happy to call y'all friends, definitely, not just
Likewise.
uh,
Yes.
streamers and personalities and stuff like that. Y'all are personalities, but y'all are special to the channel, and we appreciate everything that y'all have done. And good to hear about what y'all like and what y'all. Well, maybe one time we'll talk about what we don't necessarily like. But hey, we got a lot of the bad stuff. It's so easy to focus on the bad stuff. It's fun to talk about the good stuff a lot.
Right.
So,
True. Very
but on
true.
that note, let me go ahead and let's see. Oh, the warp pipe pass, huh? That'd be neat if they could make a pipe that you could go in with your Mario Kart out there in the real park. That would be neat. So,
Well, it's not a cart, but the entryway
oh,
in,
what?
if you look at the video from over Universal
Uh-huh.
and Hollywood, you go through the warp pipe
Oh,
to
wow.
enter Super Nintendo World.
Yeah.
You go in through a pipe.
What more? That's
Yeah.
not only immersion, imagination, all that
Hmm.
for something, and it's themed thematically with it. So,
Yep.
Hmm.
oh my gosh. Well, that's cool to hear. And if we got another moment, I'm hearing rumors the Simpsons ride may not be around much longer. Are you hearing
That
much on that?
I
that's the rumors.
Yeah, it's a rumor.
Uh,
There's been nothing official, but the rumors are flying on it. We shall see.
Really, I think as a contractual thing or the who owns Fox. Yeah, one of
Yeah.
those things of where
Hmm.
it falls. And so Jess is saying, SPD Girl is saying the Mario Kart ride is going to be VR. Oh wow.
Yes. Hmm.
So
Yep.
what? I guess how would that work? You just sit in your little thing and then
Yeah.
put the headsets on.
It's a dark ride, and you have a visor on, and on the visor is where you see the VR. And
Yeah.
from what I've heard, it's a very slow ride, but with the visor and all the VR, it makes it very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
I've heard
We'll
it's
have to-
actually really well done.
Wow, that's awesome to hear. So, and did you say the Nintendo World is open yet over there in California?
Yes, it is
All right.
opened. It opened just, I think, end of February it opened.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wow. That's what's confusing me. I'm getting that confused with what's in Florida. So that's kind of, I hear, and they're used interchangeable, and I associate them, you know, they're different things. One is, I think, obviously going to be bigger than the other, but yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, folks, you know what happens every time on these streams that I do? It's like more people show up. We still got 14 wonderful people with us
Hey, everybody.
here with us, but we're going to have to let our guests go because they've been gracious with the time tonight and things. Thank you all. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on the Twitch side, as just coming from the Twitch side. Hey, B from O. Hey, welcome. You've been lurking.
Hello.
Good to see you. Good to see you, my Fortnite friend out there. Hopefully you and the missus are having a good time hunting in Fortnite, and thanks for lurking. So as we wrap up, Theme Park Casual, you go first. Tell us a little bit about your channel. I know the missus has been putting both of y'all's links out there. So go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Yeah, Theme Park Casual on YouTube. We have thoughts, news, and discussion for the casual visitor from a former theme park commando. And now I'm actually doing live streams as well. So we're at the parks, usually once a week. We're doing Disneyland, California Adventure, Knott's Berry Farm.
Mm-hmm. I love the Knott's Berry, and like tonight, you showed that parade, which is really interesting. And I just got to throw this in there because I put it in your chat. What was hilarious is the way, I'm that parade had a lot of gaps in it, and I'm wondering it's only because of that curve that was there, because I'm not used to seeing parades with those kind of gaps. But the way they let people cross between the parade floats, it was
that's exactly why they have the gaps, just to allow for crowd control. Because at Disneyland, the parade route basically splits the park in half. So once the parade's going, there would be no way to crisscross from one side of the park to the other if they didn't do that. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've seen it a little bit in Orlando, but not to that extent. So that's interesting. So thanks for the clarification. Folks, go look at his link. Check him out there, Theme Park Casual. And now you, Lorena, tell us about yourself, your channel, what you got going. I think you're going to be involved in something just in a few minutes too. So.
Yeah, they had to start without me, but it's their fault for pushing the stream off to this to this week. So I'll be over on the Dark Council in about 5 minutes. But you can find me, of course, on Twitter. You can find me on Twitch, Instagram, and also on YouTube with various videos, live streams for pop culture as well as theme parks. So thank you so much for having me, Dadman. And always love hanging out with Casual.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hey, this is the first time I got to hang out with both of y'all together. This is an honor, sharing war stories, memories from the parks and stuff, all that like that. So it was a blast, and thank you both for your time, and Lorena especially. Thank you. I know you're very busy too, and for coming in with this. Let me just make a couple of things real quick. Oh, Lisa's testing her phone out. Oh, I'm not the only one testing things out tonight. And yeah, it was fun. Thanks, Balzette. And that's the missus. Yeah, have a great night. See you later. And Lisa says, thank you, Lorena. And definitely thank you, Lorena. Thank you, Theme Park. What I need to do real quick, I'm going to do a few things real quick. Give me a second. Sorry. I'm
no worries.
Trying to get this to, using a different browser is different because it's coming up differently, and I'm having to look at things that are in different places. So it's just let's see. All right, let's see. Well, let's see. I don't understand what's happening. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. It's funny. On Opera, it's one way, and on Google Chrome, there's like different options for sharing your screen. So anyway, here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. with the great AFK Bard, we're going to talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie. So make sure you join us for that, for the lovely discussion. and come have some fun with us tonight. And Lisa does say thank you to the theme park and thank you to both the guests from B from O. Hey, so join us tomorrow night for that. That's going to be a great thing, and see what AFK has to say about it. And I'll share some of my thoughts. If you haven't seen it, go see it. And the buttons jump on me again. So, hey, we just go back. Friday night, if you like football, I love football. Even if you don't know football, come hang out with us and talk football or ask your questions. Make me look good, okay? Where I can answer questions. I love football, and we'll talk football with the great Whoopa Troopa, and we call it pro-ish football. It's not the NFL, so it's the XFL is they're technically professional, so we call it pro-ish football. Come watch, hang out, ask your football questions. Even if you don't know, we will tell you. We will teach you a lot with it. And then Saturday, this is a busy day. I got tonight. I got streams the next 4 days. 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon, I'm scheduled to play Axes and Allies again with Rambling Canuck at 2 p.m. Let's see if we play against each other. See if we can somehow, as the Allies, hold off the Axis. But you know what's surprising? My show and tell had almost 70-something views on this game, and our last match where we finished had like 250 views, which was a record for me. Which I did not realize this game had that many connections out there with people before, which really stunned me and surprised me. So this has been kind of a little gem. So if you're interested, drop by, hang out, listen to us ramble a little bit, and and all that. So, and B from O said thank you. Now that you're back casual. And Jeremy says, woo, all parties. I don't know how to read. And Lisa said she had to get a sweater. This was definitely a chilling stream. Thank you.
Nice.
Absolutely. So, and on that note, I'm going to next Wednesday. I told you Wednesdays are busy at the movies with Daisy Blossom Flower Child. Come watch and chime in with your theories about the 3 seashells. Will the mystery ever be revealed? Who knows? So, hey, we're looking forward to this one, and it was a must-do. The movie that told the future before 2020 ever existed. So, hey, there you go. Yep. But, hey, on that note, catch my videos. It's doing that on me. It's jumping 2 slides tonight. But here. Quickly, live streams, videos, youtube.com, twitch.tv, Dadman Walking 55 on both. Catch me on, keep up with when I go live. The best to get updates are on Twitter at Dadman Walking 55. So everywhere I'm Dadman Walking 55 to make it easier for you. So, and maybe one day I'll get a good schedule printed out for everybody to see in one place like Lorena does. And that's a consummate professional. So, all right, folks, thank you. My guest, Lorena, Theme Park Casual, thank you again. And everybody, I will tell you, have a good night, good rest, and see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Bye, all.
See you, kids.